at the Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company. We're live, and the sound sounded fantastic, right?
It sure did.
And then we're going to get ready to podcast once Nash is done sharing complete, and we've got everybody sharing. I'll just take this moment on Facebook to give a shout out to our sponsors, Spirit of French Lick, Alan Bishop, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, and the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute, and Rosewood Bourbon and Jason Giles. Great sponsors of the show. Thank you for supporting us, and look forward to it. More sponsorship. But once again, the great bourbons being produced all across the country. I mean, Indiana for Spirit of French Lick. We're here at Lawrenceburg, here in Kentucky. This is craft distillery at its best, right?
Indeed. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a handle on all this sharing.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
What's it called?
No, that's you send it out that text. So
I used to be in St. Louis.
I do. That explains. I could guarantee you, if I get out of this, I won't do any tap.
I don't do it.
I don't.
I got it on my laptop.
I keep having to learn more and more stuff, and then you master one, and by the time you get there, and you spend the 2 years that it takes, and all of a sudden you're being successful there, so then you got to find the next place, because at one point, they're going to basically deem your content, because we're in the spirits industry, and there's cigars and tobacco and alcohol involved, that they're going to come after you because of your once you're popular. So you got to be on the next social media getting ready for that.
Right. What else do we have? People might go cigars, whiskey, strippers.
Yeah.
I don't think they go to
and I look pretty good on the whole.
you know what? That could work.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he didn't specify. He was just saying male stripper.
Just that.
No, I think that would work.
So for those of you that are joining us on Facebook, we're getting ready to podcast. Lawrenceburg Bourbon, and just got a message, so just sit tight for a minute. We're just getting things set up, shares out to the social media platforms. We're going to go live here with Greg. So
Yeah.
I think I'm just about done here.
Match is almost done. So what'll happen is we're going to have a brief 30-second spot for one of the sponsors that we just mentioned, and that will be recorded embedded into the podcast, and that's audio. And then you're going to hear our Scotchy Bourbon Boys theme song, and then the podcast is on. We've done this before.
I'm excited about the theme song.
Yes.
This is part 2.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is a new one.
No. This
is
is but we had you on at Bourbon on the
Bourbon on the
Back.
Back, which I'm already looking forward to.
And the Bourbon Festival.
We kind of we love this. Great time there.
We missed you.
I was coming and had a distributor ship me in, so we didn't mind it. We well had to go.
Yeah, it's not good when you don't. It's not good to be at a whiskey festival with no whiskey.
It's
It was a last minute.
I was actually thinking it was worse than that, but
Well,
I mean, I've only done it twice.
it depends on the distributor, right?
Yeah, yes.
Well, I know that is true.
And it's a tricky thing. There's no doubt about it. All right, so you ready?
We're ready.
We're ready? We're ready? All right, here we go. We're going to start, like I said, we'll get 30 seconds, and then you'll hear the theme song.
This is Alan Bishop, head alchemist at Spirits of French Lick. Be on the lookout for our brand new bottled and bond Solomon Scott rye whiskey. Made from a mash composed of 65% rye, 35% corn, and 5% victory malt. This 5-year-old 100 proof rye whiskey is a throwback to early 1800s style rye whiskeys of the Ohio Valley. Named after the legendary Daisy Spring Mill distillery owner turned moonshiner Solomon Scott of Paoli, Indiana. Remember, drink responsibly and never drink and drive.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raisins in hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun.
Boys and Whiskey's gonna do the introductions today.
Hey, just sitting here with us is Greg Keeley. He's the owner of Lawrenceburg Bourbon Co. in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. If you're wondering where that is, we're just down the street from Walker. So that's kind of a good landmark too. So, and we're here on a wonderful Sunday, right around noon, and we're gonna enjoy some bourbons and hear a little more of the story. And we are from the brand new tasting room, which was in the last couple of months, actually.
No, we actually opened this very room we're sitting right now yesterday.
Oh, there you go. Sort of.
Wow. We have some damn good time.
I know. Well,
we had it scheduled for yesterday.
Yeah, we were here for opening day.
well, that's a big disaster. It was slammed out here yesterday, and yeah, it was baptism of fire in the new distillery tasting room, and you can't see it on screen here, but we have a nice little walk-in humidor, which folks seem to enjoy yesterday. But yeah, first day was yesterday, so we're fresh out of the box.
Yeah, so you got a little private area in the front too, a long table in there with a coffee machine.
So that's all set up for the tour groups that come through. So we had a group of 26 in there yesterday. They were a rowdy bunch. They were all Ukrainian, and they were awesome.
I guess so. Right. Well, there's no party like a party.
Oh my God, they were so psyched. We were sleeping in Russians the whole day.
Nice.
It was a good day overall.
Well, I'll tell you, this room is, I mean, you got some size to this easily. Yeah, nice things. It's Carl Jr. I mean, easily you can fit 40, 50 people here. I mean, I know a lot of, we've seen a lot of distilleries, all over Kentucky on the trail. And there's a lot of places that you go into that, if you want to get a taste or a pour, there's not a lot of room. I mean, it's like, if you're, if there's 3 carloads of people there, you're done. I mean, that's cool. I mean, here, you have capacity of what, there's probably 60 or 75 seats.
75.
So it's great. I mean, humidor looks amazing. I know you guys can't see it on Facebook, but man, this is really first class.
We might have to crack into one.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
My wife went to me smokes together very much, so when you guys do like
so it's a
okay. So you just have to have us here more often.
correct.
There you go. That's the solution.
So I'm Tiny. This is Whiskey, and this is Super Nash. We're here. We are a little bit shorter than we were last. We were almost at full strength yesterday, but it's kind of like, I think, looking at the way this is set up, this is almost like, honestly, loving what's happening on Facebook Live. It's just like, anybody listening, you got to get over there and take a look at it. Once you're done listening, just check out the Scotchy Bourbon Boys Facebook group and go in there and find it, because I think from a production camera kind of thing,
it looks
great. I think you've really,
like, this looks like a professional studio.
yeah. What you got for lighting is going to be perfect if you guys start doing social media kind of things. You have podcasts. I mean, just like everybody's going to be jealous.
We can do this for you.
Yeah, you could, yes, and you just work, because, I mean, anything you record, I mean, if you're doing promotional stuff for your bottles and everything, I mean, how cool is that?
It doesn't get better.
I'm going to do a cooking show.
Yeah, do a cooking show. That's still cool. I mean, that's just perfect.
I know what we call
Look at that.
Grilled Greg, I like
grilled bread.
I just think we should have Greg's film lighting, teach people how to film light for podcasts and stuff. Just have them explain how that works. I mean, I've just got I know how it works, but I've rarely been able to achieve this. So I'm just sitting here from a visual standpoint thinking about, wow.
Yeah.
Let's hold up one of the bottles. Look at that, and then we'll do a zoom in. It's just
perfectly
lit.
That's exciting.
I mean, that is just.
And you picked a good bottle because that is the limited edition 150th Kentucky
It
Bourbon
is.
bottle.
This guy, we just put this out yesterday for the opening of the new room. This is 150 bottles of this. It's our Hawk the Roses bottle, play on the Run for the Roses. And it's got a World War I Australian kangaroo tattoo on the front, surrounded by some roses. It's a cast strength, 8-year-old, 126.3 proof. It is a bold person.
Well, now that you bring that up too, I'd just like to thank you. You are a veteran,
Yes,
and I'd like to thank you for your service. I'm a veteran also.
Yeah.
And also your wife, Peggy.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
She is active in the Navy right now.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so
It's right now you're Kentucky's only veteran. So
that's as we understand. Certainly with the only certified, like certified distillery, but I don't know. I hope there's more. But right now, I think we're the only veteran distillery.
Great. You're very presentable too.
Thank you.
Look forward to that.
I mean, it's unique. Now, I don't know a lot, but are there kangaroo races? Do they actually race them?
No, not at all. They race when you're trying to shoot them. But other than that, they're not good.
They're not good at running around the track.
They're kind of hard.
Hopping around the track.
No, they're kind of hard to pass.
Okay, so yeah, it's
They're not very tame.
nice.
they might be
Which,
scary.
by the way, when you pull up, you get greeted by a 6.5 foot tall
Copper. Yeah,
Copper kangaroo.
bronze. Yeah,
Is
it's a copper thing.
It's
I just can't
but it
remember
looks
exactly.
like it's been patinated.
Well, that's the
It's got
problem.
the green.
So that kangaroo, it's a it's an actual life-size kangaroo. It's right at our front door here at Lawrenceburg, and it's an actual replica of a kangaroo that was on the park where I grew up, like down the road where I grew up. They still have the mold, and we got it. It was 60 years old or something, and we had a recast, and that's been sitting on our farm for a few years. And his name is Lou the Blue Root, and he just came down here a couple of days ago.
So you're going to have to do blues on Facebook page.
That's what everyone keeps telling us. And, I can't turn my phone up with one of kangaroos.
So I had to,
It's literally on a dolly right now, so you're just figuring out where it's going to hop to
Exactly.
for its permanent
Exactly.
position, right?
so I'll tell you, what a transformation this building has been for you guys. It's not only is it transformative for the property itself, but it's a transformative business. So, do you want to talk a little bit? I know last time you were on, you talked a little bit about the evolution of the company itself, where Lawrenceburg came from, why we wanted to do it. You want to talk a little bit about this tasting room and
Yeah,
how
sure.
that came to be and
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about last time, we sort of been almost couch surfing the distillery. So friends have got distilleries that they don't have open for a month or 6 weeks over winter when you're down in Florida or all this sort of stuff. So we've literally been couch surfing, which has worked well until now, and I think people kind of get a bit annoyed with us. So we thought it was time to move out of the habitation room just down on Main Street here in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And we outgrew that obviously, and this building was on my radar for a good year or so. And eventually, the gentleman that owned the building agreed to sell it to us. Obviously, the proximity right next door to Wild Turkey is terrific. And Four Roses is about 9 minutes drive up on 127.
And straight from Lawrenceburg, like you just make a left out of Lawrenceburg.
absolutely.
Yeah, once you're in town, it's 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you're just close to everything that you need to be close to.
I tell you what has been fantastic since we moved into this building, we've had a lot more capacity to have guests and people to trailer, has been how embracing the big guys have been. Because everyone's like, oh, you're right next to these guys, they're going to try and track you down. It couldn't be anything further from the truth. every day we get multiple people coming in that Wild Turkey have seen, that guys from Four Roses have seen. Like every single day, we have guys from Four Roses and Wild Turkey coming in for drinks after work because we're open to 6, they close at 4, and it's a lot of camaraderie and the little distillers, the big distilleries, couldn't be more, have been more helpful with this.
Well, and to be honest with you, if somebody's going to plan a trip, and I say this personally, but if you're planning a trip to Kentucky, you don't want a 45-minute drive to your third distillery. Because, I mean, if you start drinking at 10 in the morning, which is okay in Kentucky,
as we know.
Yeah. So
It's 12 now,
If
so
you
it's
can
okay.
pack, if you can pack 3 or 4 little destinations in an area, it's a trip in. You can do Four Roses, you can do Wild Turkey, you stop by Lawrenceburg.
If it's 20 minutes over the bridge,
So-
so Castle Tea's right down the road. So literally within a 20-minute drive anyway, you can get half a dozen very different facilities.
Right. Well, and yeah, you can go from the ultra large
Right.
all the way down to a craft, like yourself. And I got to tell you, one of the killers on the trail is if you try to do like a big one. Let's say you want to do Knickers in Louisville, or you want to do Buffalo Trace, something down the sort of roads. The travel time chews up so much of your day that you're not getting as much time actually doing what you need to do, which is drink bourbon, take a tour, find something new. So I applaud you for this great location, and I think the more you can do in this area, the more you can partner. Again, I think it's maybe you can talk to the other guys about putting up tour tickets together where they did all 3.
There actually there's a couple of big tour companies here in the urban world. Many folks that work with them now with take urban world, tours and that sort of thing. And we've actually been talking about having this as sort of a centre of, so they can branch out, Louisville and Lawrenceburg in the other, there's almost enough of a grouping or whatever, I can't say, but to have a whole day in Lawrenceburg or around Lawrenceburg, you don't have to drive further from
Right. Yeah, I did this in 2019 to a tour company out in Lexington, and we did Woodford, we did Wild Turkey, and we did
I got to make Whiskey Thief or whatever it's called.
no, actually Whiskey Thief in 2019, not yet, but it was Four Roses. Four Roses, right. So those 3 are what we did on the tour, but like you said, now you can do, and we actually ate lunch in downtown Lawrenceburg. So that was kind of, but now that there's a couple more places to get events in closer, get that in.
I mean, and what we're finding a lot here is, at Lawrenceburg Bourbon Co, we're not promoting tours in the traditional sense of the word. We're not big enough to do that. But what we're trying to promote is experience. So, and part of your question, Carl, is, how has everything evolved? So, rather than sort of go toe to toe with Woodford or Four Roses on their tours, which is fantastic. We're really leaning into experience. So our bar behind us, we do a cocktail masterclass. So a tour group come in, we make a couple of cocktails, they pick which bitters they want, which whiskey they want. Then in that room, which you can't see over there, we do barrel. We've got 4 barrels laid out, and folks they're all exactly the same national, the same age, but we finish them in different finishing barrels. So there's a maple barrel, there's a jackfruit barrel, there's a sherry barrel, something else. So the people, there's a number of places now that they can feed that barrel. And we want to do something that's a little bit different. So it's exactly the same whiskey. There'll be a standard barrel also, so you've got something to market with. And then you can then taste the different finishes, decide if you like one of them, then bottle it yourself, do the labels, do the whole shooting match over there. And then we're doing some other experiences in the barrel house where they can come and sort of be a distiller for a day kind of deal. Well,
That's pretty cool right there.
I don't know anybody who's doing that. That's pretty different.
yeah, well, they'll be learning from me, which isn't going to tell them very much. But aside from that, will probably be pretty fun.
But you know what? We're dumb Americans. We like the Australian accent. So.
Well,
we just automatically.
But you bring a unique perspective to the veteran-owned and then active military, what's active military, but also you've been in two different militaries in two different countries,
Right.
So you have that, the foreign aspect of flair for people across the world that are coming here, that they can. It seems like you've got something to offer them. It's not. I mean, how can I put it? When you come in here, you don't feel like the American flag, USA, straight up's happening, but you feel like bourbon's happening, but bourbon can expand from outside of here. And you're doing it in Kentucky in the middle of, United States bourbon, but at the same time, people are so open now to different flavors and different finishes, and they're always looking for something, and that's a need that you provide. And being this part on the trail, it's a no-brainer just to stop in and see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that you say that because just in the last couple of weeks we've had people out of Ireland, and Scotland, and things come in, and they're Scotch drinkers or they're Irish whiskey drinkers, and they're really open now to trying bourbon and American whiskey. Like if you go to Australia into like a Total Wine or liquor barn in Australia, if you go a whole big corridor of bourbon, both sides, all the way back to the end of the store. In Australia, you go into the store and there's maybe a little shelf over here. It's got Jim Beam, Wild Turkey, Maker's Mark, and that's about it. But then the next aisle is wall-to-wall gin, and it goes from the front to the back. So it's not a bourbon culture, but people are now starting to embrace it a lot more.
We have an Australian fan. He posts on our also live from Australia. He loves his collection, but also people don't understand a lot that having been around the world that Jim Beam and Wild Turkey whatever they can is not the same because the proofs are different. Some proofs there's some proofs even 70.
Yes,
And that, like it's a bourbon, but it's proofed at 70 because those are the rules, or the rules of the culture. Because there's not a lot of people drinking 80 proof, they drink 70 proof, and so they're going to put it out like that, even though it's Jim Beam, but it's not technically bourbon, but at the same time, it's what they like. So, he's educated us on that because he's always bringing it out. And he's like, what's that? What's the cask strength on that? I'm like, 120. He's got that Wild Turkey rare breed, and it was completely different, and so that's the kind of thing that you start to open up that, everybody's in their different places. I mean, in Scotland, they've been doing it for hundreds of years, and a lot of the stuff that's happening here, and what you're going to be able to do, single malts and stuff, and gins and whatever, that's already happened there, and all the evolution already happened where they started finishing or using used barrels or whatever, and whiskey's just starting that right now, and that's in the United States.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to say too, is that I belong to a lot of international Facebook whiskey and bourbon groups. I belong to some that's in Australia, Beirut, India, Philippines, and I've shared all of this to this group, and you're starting to get a lot of the international people that are coming over to the whiskey trail now and come in. And so I thought that's pretty unique, that's starting to happen. And so that's what I love about being able to share this kind of.
And it's easy too. I mean, we're 25 minutes from the airport.
Yeah.
We're 50 minutes from Louisville, airport driving. And people aren't afraid to jump into their car and come down here with their drone now in those places. Because what we're finding is a lot of folks will come to town or come into the region to the bluegrass and be like, oh, we want to go to the bourbon tours and everything. And then they'll do one or two of the big ones. And they're like, okay, well, I don't need anyone else to tell me that 51% more. I don't need anyone else to put my finger in the mash tank. And they want the experience. They want to have a personalised discussion with the distiller, with the owners, with the people that are making it at the back. And that's why I think you're seeing a lot more craft distilleries in Kentucky, sort of, and elsewhere, of course, pop up because people want the experience, they want something personal. The big ones are great because you learn a lot, and you sort of drink out of fire hose, but there's only so many times you can see a steel tank, and get that
And did work
Or watch the all still.
They
all look the same.
If you're sick like me, though, every single time, I don't know what it is, but it's like it's the first time I still love sticking my finger in the mash, and I still love the smell. Yeah,
No, don't let him put his finger in.
Anyways, but I mean, that's just me. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know there's something wrong with me because I keep doing it, and people say, oh, there's so many. My cousin, she's like, I can't do that anymore. I know how it's made. Whatever, I want this. And I'm like, no. I love the smell. I love it. I do this every day. So,
I was just going to say, our farm, just up the hill from Four Roses, so at night when they're cooking, you can sit on the back porch with a Lawrenceburg Bourbon and smell the Four Roses.
yeah, that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
So the other thing I'll just mention too is we had some time before we started the podcast to take a little walk through the front store of the bar. You guys have some great merch. I mean, the merchandise is clever. There's some stuff here that I've never seen before. Right now you're carrying Lawrenceburg Bourbon perfume.
Cologne.
Is it cologne?
I know you went with
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, so, it doesn't say loaded toilet on it. So
Clarify that for it.
I'm really starting to like you. You're the first person. You are tissue.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what I write. So, that's reality, people. But I mean, in addition, that maple syrup that's out there looks like it's fantastic.
Oh my God, that maple syrup is, and I'm not saying this is looking out gift shop, but that maple syrup is made by a gentleman in Wisconsin. They farm in Wisconsin. We send him our dumped barrels, freshly dumped barrels. He puts his maple syrup in it for 46 months, whenever it's ready. And then he sells it obviously himself, but then sends us some of it to sell here, and then sends us back the empty barrels from the maple. And we've got a whole bunch up there aging right now on maple barrels. But that maple syrup is extraordinary. Old fashioned. $10 rye maple syrup. We might make it.
I've loved maple syrup my whole life, right? But getting into bourbon, it really is probably the complementary food that you like. Your maple syrup consumption with cooking and bourbon syrups and everything. I probably had in the last 5 years more maple syrups stuff than I did in my whole life. It just really, that's one thing that just pairs so well with bourbon.
The other thing too is I had an opportunity to talk to Katie, I found it interesting that she has a real focus on partnering with small businesses for sourcing of your merchandise. So you're not going to China and getting 1,000 T-shirts. You're getting local. You mentioned maple syrup is another small business up out of Wisconsin where they actually know how to do syrup.
Well, we had Bloody Mary, which is marketed from two ladies that quit their jobs as lawyers to go and start making Bloody Mary mix. And it's called Bloody Darn Good. That's the name of the brand. It is so good. We bring it from Arkansas because it's that good. We don't go down the store.
So I just think it's neat that, in addition to the beverage angle, and that you're also trying to privatize relationships. You're supporting other small entrepreneurs. That is, Lawrenceburg is growing. You're trying to grow their businesses.
It's really important to us, and that's why we try and, where we can, if there's the right person, employ reps to and be production managers, Marine, for instance, if it's starting a state side, this current company doesn't know what it is. But that's important to us, is that side of the thing, like our candles, which are in our used bottles, are made literally made in Ireland. So we really lean with, like, we have lamps out there. A guy cuts the top off and turns it into a lamp. We use like 2 doors down the road.
So if you need anybody to make bourbon balls, you do that.
Ooh, I do try the balls last time.
Yeah.
You sure Travis? That was nice and salty as well.
Yeah.
Well, we can make them. We can make them. Yeah.
Oh, it's sweet and salty.
Right. No, we put crushed
There's nothing like
pecans
those
on top.
balls.
And sea salt.
Flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're,
Well, let's
if you're
roll
interested,
ball.
and then we'll just use whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable price if we're using if you're supplying them.
Yeah, I want to come back here more often. It's like having two of me.
No. It's like having a polished view.
Oh, this is
like
having a college.
You're rough. This he is smooth.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. He's delivering the same material.
I'm just mean.
You always have a way of just like kind of like it's a pause and then just nailing it,
Yeah.
and then like a
Yeah.
awkward pause.
Carl.
He just did it. It was just like straight through, just perfect.
Carl like a B-52 dropping opening up the hatch and dropping the bomb over, you know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm pretty close to 500 pounds.
He's suppression fire. He's suppression fire.
Yeah. So,
Anyways,
so let's talk a little bit about phase 2.
Yep.
So as we're talking, I mean, the building, you can see this wonderful bar behind us, but the building's actually pretty expansive. So
Yes.
you shared with us just before starting that you've already got phase 2 kind of lined up.
Right.
And I know I'm pretty excited by the idea of what you're going to do with your still. So
Yeah.
you want to talk about
Sure
that?
thing.
Because I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so we're right here on the Sales Road. It's a busy, the Lawrenceburg Road. But so where we are, we have another couple of rooms around here. Then up the back, we have our what we're calling our barrel house. That'll also have our small gin still up in the back, and we store about 400 barrels. The restaurant, the White Dog in Midway, there's a barrel greenhouse store. But the next stage is we're working on plans right now. We're going to try and further that this afternoon, where we're going to build a still house on the front yard with the grass is out front, and it's just a big square box with glass on the front and back, a big 500-gallon pot still sitting in the middle of it, and you'll be able to see it from the road, and it won't put out insurance.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited about it, and we've got a couple of agents behind us here. We've got super great neighbours, and we're looking at a couple of different options up there for barrel houses and or maybe pop a Airbnb or something up there, so you can live out in the city for a weekend.
That's me.
Well, and that's usually where we stay at Airbnb. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure that we talk.
I tell you what, there's some amazing Airbnbs on food now, but there's no hotels. Right. So the Airbnbs that spring up around here are fantastic. Bourbon barrel cottages, bourbon barrel estates. One of them's like a bourbon, like you actually stay in a bourbon barrel, like a big ass bourbon barrel.
I've seen it online.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. No, bourbon barrel treats, and then there's bourbon barrel cottages, which are brand new. They're all like outdoor fire pits.
They're not charred on the inside of it.
You know what? If not, we should go and maybe do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just light one up, see what happens.
It's right from the inside.
Yeah.
Get that gross. It's a number
We'll
6.
talk
We'll do a
to
6 shot.
or really alligator up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that. I like that. I like it.
So you're going to be, you mentioned you're going to be putting gin still in the back. So what are you going to do? You're going to start producing gin because of your Australian roots?
We are. So Australians, just like our God save the King brethren in England, love gin. You grow up drinking gin and tonics and gin. And so we're going to start making gin back. Our gin brand is, actually, this will be the first public airing of it. It's called Fat Wombat. It's the name of our gin.
Nice.
And it's got a great little Fat Wombat on the label. And actually, Wombat's not fat. But anyhow, so Fat Wombat gin, we're going to start out with a native strength gin, which means it'll be 114 proof. Most gins in the market are about 118. I'm sorry, we're about 80. So this will be 114, 116. And then we're going to bring out our second gin will be a Earl Grey tea gin, which a friend of mine in Colorado made it for family Jones. They gave me the recipes and we're going to try it again. So we're really excited.
So I'm going to ask you a hard question, okay? And it's not, but
Yeah,
you grew up in Australia drinking gin and tonics, right?
Yes.
And beer. But so now you're making spirits, and you know what making whiskey and what goes into making whiskey, and then you also know how gin is made. Does that change your opinion on the spirits as far as overall? But because you can distill gin good, but you're not aging it. It's coming off the still at a higher level. That's why you have the different still and whatever. But and then whiskey has a lot of the rules, and so has that changed your opinion now that of whiskey compared to when you were growing up drinking the gin?
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at whiskey and some of the craftsmanship that goes into making a good bourbon or a good American whiskey. It's more difficult to make Scotch, more difficult to make anything. And if you're there are some extraordinary craftsmen here in Kentucky, obviously, but also around the country now. Some great whiskey coming out of like Minnesota and Colorado and that sort of thing. It's entirely different. Like gin on itself is compared to bourbon not tough to distill. What's tough with gin is getting the botanicals right and the flavour profile right, because if you screw it up, gin's off. Yeah. We tried making some Star Anise gin. It tasted like it was something like a licorice gumball, and it was awful. But we thought it was going to be fabulous. So the gin's all about the little nuances of the botanicals, and that's why we won't make vodka.
Well, vodka's made to not taste anything, and you just basically add the juice or it's made for mixing drinks. I mean, there's no stuff about it.
And good gin, we would encourage people to drink it on like you sip it like you do with the bourbon, or put it on a big fat ice cube and sit out on the porch and sip it like that, or put some good tonic. It's like don't put the gin tonic in a plastic bottle.
Right. So before we maybe move on from the building, the new location, and how wonderful this is, which I can't say enough. I wish we could take the camera around.
Wait. Just all I'm going to say is, if you want to come here, that background on Facebook. I mean, you are talking about.
This is Scotchy.
Wild Turkey doesn't have this background. Four Roses doesn't.
Kangaroo.
Yeah, no, it's not just your kangaroo is awesome, but that is that you've got something that's worth coming for. I mean, to sit at this bar and be in this room is really a spectacular thing.
What's sitting over there in front of us is the most unique thing that I've ever seen, and probably the only one.
I believe
Is a walk-in cigar humidor, several shelves of cigars from all over the world.
Yeah.
And plus your own brand of cigar, especially made for y'all.
Yeah,
It's
Well, talk about what's there, because Chris just said he's heard that it's stocked with really amazing cigars.
Yeah, we've got some pretty interesting stuff, like everything from sort of your sort of more entry level, like acid cigars and things like that. But right up through some of the just amazing CAOs we've got in there. We've got some rock hotels that I've never seen before. That's what we've got. They're amazing. We've got some Monte Cristos, etc., herbs, all that.
Yeah, I see stuff that's everything from traditional cigar smoker all the way through somebody that likes something a little more icky like an acid.
We had a couple of Macanudo cigar in there. It's an old-fashioned flavour. I'm not big on old one. Not big on the flavour. People love it.
Well, and I see that
Yeah.
you're trying to satisfy.
So
Everybody, there's natural, there's Maduro.
Yep.
You've got some that look like they're in a 32 drink age.
Yeah.
I see a couple of fat boys down there that look like close to 60.
has your wife done the same thing with everything else, and she's contacted the places, and they all know, and they want meetings. They're all have to want meetings.
With a cigar maker in Nashville, Crown Heads. They're a pretty cutting edge cigar company. That, you can see that bottom shelf, the second bottom shelf is empty. That's reserved for them. We go put their up there with cigar knives with those guys. They're fantastic. They've got about 6 or 7 varietals will feature now. Cigar room. But those top ones, they're made for us, like a hand roll for us in Miami. This old gentleman, one of our very good friends here, Chris Renee knows well, we sent him down some whiskeys from our 10x10 rye. He then worked his magic with it, and the leaves and the tobacco was somehow fused with our bourbon seed or something. And then he hand rolled those cigars for us, and they're actually Cuban seed cigars, and then that's exactly what we might try.
So we have a question about distribution. Somebody from Paul from Texas wanted to know if he could pick up Lawrenceburg Bourbon in Texas.
Sadly, the Longhorn State is not distributed at the moment. Paul. Sorry, old boy, but we haven't pushed into Texas yet. We would love to. It's one of my favourite states in the union. I'd love to get a bit of Fort Worth on action. So, Paul, if you've got any ideas, hit the guys up. We would love to be distributed in Texas.
Yeah, that's it's one of the 4 biggest bourbon markets in the country. So
It's got great music in there. So, Dan Garrison guys, something. Yeah.
So let's move on to the whiskey since we're here.
You've been chasing the beer.
What's that? So yes,
All right. So what we've done here on the whiskey front is we've just got 4 little pours here. So what I'm trying to do here is give us a couple of things. Our most popular tasting when people come into the distillery is our single barrel tasting. And what we do with that is we put 2 single barrel bourbons and 2 single barrel ryes next to each other. So people, like a lot of people, I think, hear the term single barrel, they don't really know about that. Great. Our single barrels are actually single barrel and 1 barrel. There's no sort of scuttlebutt or wordplay being a single barrel. And what we like to do is have exactly the same actually side by side. The only difference is maybe it's 6 months or a year different. But it's just the wood. And it's something people go, this comes from the same whiskey, and they try them side by side, and we're like, you have 50s and 100% the same. They literally sat next to each other on the rack. Look, we can have our Bravo 2 release and our Bravo 3, and they literally sat next to each other. But we release 10 barrels at a time. And we have the Alpha release, Bravo, Charlie, etc. We'll try a couple of Bravo releases now. So this first one we'll try on the inside, right? From inside out, on the paddle. Yesterday we had a little bit of we had a 10-year-old wild son from 3 proof or whatever. And they're like, oh, and we also have our 80 proof breakfast bourbon. Anyhow, the guy's like, oh, check this out. I said, oh, this is low proof and water up. Of course, I have the wrong end. And the guy drinks the usual. He's like, doing this. And I was like, it's only 80 proof. He goes, oh my God, really? I was not like that.
That's right.
He's good.
No, sorry. Whoopsie. Sorry, no, sorry.
So this one was actually from our very first release. So this was a cask 6. That cask 6 from our first 10 barrels. This actual bottle just won the Spirit of the Year at the Monterey International wine and spirit show in California. It scored 99 points. It was up against a number of well-known brands, and it's a great whiskey. And we were, won Spirit of the Year, best whiskey of the show, and it really won us Distillery of the Year at that competition. We just got that a couple of weeks ago. So this is our past 6, 4.5 years old in the bottle. It's 123.1 proof, and this is the actual bottle.
Yeah, this is an 8. This is an 8.
No, I think so. Yeah, 99 points. I think that number.
Here's cheers tonight, man. That is something. I mean, you did 99.
Absolutely.
Yes.
My mom was on the judging board.
Even then, actually, that would be a bad thing for you. That's probably why you got 99. So 100. Everybody was able to give a +1, and she's like, "Oh, that's just an 8."
Moms are like, "Hey, that's good."
Yeah, I told you not to go into this whiskey business. So this is 123. It's got a nice fruity note.
Vanilla. This would pair really well with the cigar, no doubt. There's a little bit of, just a little bit of tobacco in there, and there's just like that little, there's what'd you say, a little bit of acidity, right? Not a bad, but it's a little bit, right on the front of your, and then
You know, it's interesting to me.
just the tip.
No, it's
Do you think I left that on?
you did.
I did it. I'm like, you know better.
Yeah, because honestly, I had something keyed up for that.
Yeah.
By the way, so I'm just like, this is a family podcast.
Well, CT's not here today, so you're a little bit more.
Yeah. So
I thank you guys.
So I'll tell you the interesting thing I find about this is the finish is lingering for me right after tip. The sweetness is on the tip of my tongue, which is I drink a lot of bourbon and try a lot of bourbon on brands, and that's a little bit for me that it's just it's literally at the sweet taste buds are just so calm. Hey, and to me that's pretty bad.
So I've got to say, when you said it lingers,
Yeah.
that's the reason why my family sort of the wine industry back on Australia for 3 generations. And when you make wine, you want it to have a bit of palate and not just be full of tannins and blowing the face. I actually wanted to make it all of our whiskeys are rye forward. Like these are all 21% rye, and 7% corn.
How many barrels is the batch?
This was 10.
Okay. Decent.
Yeah, and what we tried to do, like, I wanted to do so you walk out the door, your face is burning, you don't have that awful sausages searing. And it's just
You're talking about. Also, I will tell you that when you're dealing with like the tobacco and leather flavors that can be in bourbon, it is a lot harder to balance those so that they don't become overpowering and bitter than it is when you're dealing with the caramels and the vanillas. And in this case, you're really dealing with that tobacco flavor, and it's got to be right. Otherwise, and then when you said 10 barrels, I'm like, wow, he made a decent amount of that. Where if someone walks out with this and they want to come back, there's going to be there's more than just a single barrel where you walk out with, oh, I love that, and you come back and it's gone, because most single barrels go quick if they're good, especially when they're really good.
But the thing is, though, with that Tony, is that even though we made enough to go through 10 barrels of this on the Bravo batch, each barrel was different. And not every barrel made it into a single barrel. Okay. So, of that, I don't recall exactly what was on the Bravo, but it was probably 50% don't make it into it. Okay. So, but then the ones that do, you know, it's not saying these other ones are bad. It's just they're not distinct, but they don't bring anything different.
Well, and then also you make batches of your
Right.
So I know that, you know, it's kind of like I've learned over time that blenders, if they taste the barrel that's you're looking while you're doing the single barrels, you're picking barrels out for blending because it might be a very uneventful barrel. Like it's not doing anything. It's just kind of you drink it and it's like that. Yeah. But it's really good for blending because if your blend is going really, really hot or whatever, you put that in there and that brings it back down into that scale. So all those types of barrels, like when you're doing that, the single barrel program, I think, which has exploded over the last year, was a necessity. But leading up to all that, people didn't really. They always wanted consistency in flavor. But now that we've started expanding out on that, it's been such a great thing for the industry because that's how you can get your barrels. You put out those exceptional barrels. You get the other ones so that you can really work with blending your flagship bourbon.
Exactly what we're doing. So we have our one cask rye and our one cask bourbon. They're our single barrels that we pull out when we get up there. And when we do tasting, it's me, my wife, there's a couple of guys on the team, there's a couple of the friends that still do. We just get up there on a Tuesday morning, taste the barrels. If the barrel's right, we put it in the bottle. If it's not, we'll put it up and put it aside for the blend. But, you know, we never say, oh, we're going to have a 40-year-old series or 5 or 6. We'll be bringing out a Bravo series that's 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old.
You're going to let it come. You let it come to you. You're not forcing yourself to get it out there this way.
And to be very honest, we're not sophisticated enough to be able to sit here and go, oh, well, we're going to try and keep this profile, this profile. No. If we like it, we bottle it. And that's it. For us, it's not complicated.
But also, you are using the same mash. Then that is where your consistency can come.
Sure.
You know, the fact that you're not changing up the percentages and whatever. And
everything's going to be right forward.
Right.
So that consistency. But when it's ready, it's ready. And I think it's 4 years old. We've got some whiskeys that are 4 years old that are way better than whiskeys that are 8 years old. And when they're ready to go on the bottle, we put them in the bottle.
You know, interesting that I do on that out tobacco really started going through for me. It's like I have been in a building where tobacco leaves are on the ground, and that smell, and especially when they're all brown already. Yeah. And this has it hit me all of a sudden that flavor I'm getting is the smell. So,
yeah, very cool. All right, so number 2. This was part of Bravo release, different, obviously, it's 114 foot, 115 foot. This was our Bravo 3.
so it's almost sold out in Utah.
Yeah, great. It's like that. We had so it's great. But this is our very first 8 and it's just there. You can get it.
oh yeah, the difference between the two is definitely that's a machine. This is a that's a more mature.
We only released this on Thursday,
And it's almost gone.
Yeah. It's
Well, and is that good?
yeah, people were all over this. It's funny though. Whenever we bring home the barrel, we release single rounds, let's say 4 or 5 out of the batch of 10, and there's always one that's more equal than others. And this just happened. And I always try and hold back as much as cases. So, and Kate gets up in the back, and she's like, "What's all this going on over here?" I was like, "Oh, they're just later." She's like, they're going on the show.
Well, I really I enjoyed meeting Katie, your wife, and she definitely has the business drive. It was like when you're setting up a distillery. There's so much.
She's no
There's so much patience that has to go in it, and she's she's active military, so patience is everything in active. That's what the discipline and patience, because if you rush, it can be. But in this case, you can tell. But she was really happy what happened yesterday. She wasn't hiding it. No, it was kind of cool to see, because it's finally all your visions and all the patience, and you got to do that, and it was a day that was paying off. Because you it should, and all the investments and everything, they tell you it's going to, but until it starts to happen, that's when it's a reality, right?
Right, and it's I say it's all the time. We're building this as we're flying, right? So we started the open in that little side room, which you can't see on the screen, but it's a little narrow room that they used to sell lawnmowers. So that's where we opened, because that's the first part we put together and we could open it up. Then we went in that front room where our retail space, and it's got a beautiful bar in there, so it's a standalone. So we were in there for like 3 or 4 months, and then this opened yesterday, and then our barrel tasting room will open in a month.
Well, but when you think about it, it's a great idea, because this bar is fantastic. But having that sidebar there, so we're doing this, and people are coming in, and they're taking whatever, and you can do everything you need to do there, but also have, like, as things go forward, run people through here, and still be taking care of that crowd. It's not like a lot of times the distilleries will just have this, and if there's somebody in it or whatever, that people will miss out, and nobody's going to miss out.
So then, I don't want to forget this question because I had it and I lost it. So typically, distilleries have the brewers are. This is such a nice space. Is this available for special events and private events? And so this space would kill it for a private event.
Well, we're actually doing, because Kentucky, there's nothing bigger in Kentucky. And it's the first week in May, first Saturday May. And so the Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the Derby weekend, we're turning this into Derby Central. And we've got a killer Nick Jewell with an A recipe. We're going to have, we'll have a couple of local artists playing here every day. Guitar, doing that, and over there we have our friends at Kroger. That backdrop, which maybe we can photo on later, was in the Kentucky Horse Park for a number of years. They used it, that's an exact replica of the rose garland they did the winter of the Derby. And they lent it to us for our Derby event in May.
That's great.
So, wow. Yeah, it's actually like, the guys at Kroger have been fantastic.
Oh, let's go Kroger.
Kroger, is that a thing?
Actually, it was one of their commercials about it.
Yeah,
Let's go to Kroger.
we don't have Kroger. So I missed out on that.
I'm still missing out.
There's people that watch this all over. You say things like food wine and
Kroger? No, I know about Kroger, but I grew up in Wisconsin where they made a surf cup. And there were no Krogers, but then when I moved here, I'm in northern Ohio, still no Krogers. It took me to get into bourbon and come down here to realize that you can actually get some good bottles there.
South Carolina, where I'm from, and so that's South Carolina and Georgia is where Kroger's originated.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's why I know exactly what it's
There's a
talking
little
about.
Kroger down on 127 in Franklin here in Kentucky. It's about 20 minutes from there. Doc and David and 2 guys who run that bottle shop, and they're always got great stuff. And it's so knowledgeable. They'll talk to you, she's not talking legal. That's not good. But it's a great spot to go, and they don't always do. They often do.
Yeah.
And you don't just have to go to the little tiny bottle shops to find stuff to do. You just have to be lucky.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what do you think of that, Super?
I love it.
Little sweet oak.
It's got a really subtle
Toffee or chocolate?
So one other thing that
That's nice. You pick up the charm.
Yeah.
I love char over smoke. That when you're talking about when you get into too much peated or whatever, I don't. But when I get the char, it's more of that burnt kind of thing, and with the toast, there's a char and a toast involved, whereas with peat, it's just more like the smoke of the fire is blowing in your eyes, opposed to licking the log.
See you Sunday.
So if you look at a long liquor.
A long way.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta do
There
something.
were log liquors.
You gotta do something in the winter long.
So that's what happens when you're the lumberjack and you're having a log rolling, and then you slip and you go along
Levers up there, and there's levers, and then you're rolling the logs, and you just slip, and all of a sudden you lift the log.
Right, exactly.
Terrible stuff.
Let's go on to number 3.
Yes.
Good. That was an awkward segment.
Oh my God. But just one thing on these guys is all of our single barrel bourbons have a royal purple label with our orange label and stuff on it. We always put our national on in front of our bottles and everything. Because coming from the wine industry, we like people, we want to know that it's 10% Merlot, 15% Cab Sauv, or whatever it is, and we bring that to the whiskey front. So we always want people to know what's in it.
That's good to be transparent about what's in your bottle. There's a lot of distilleries that aren't.
And, that's fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but
Yeah.
it's just what we
That's
do.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think based off of how you're doing it, it's really good to let people know. It might not have been good to let people know like a while ago, but right now that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the complexity of all aspects of it. And they like to know. It's like, well, if you can take the distillate that you're taking and put this spin on it, then you become, because there's a lot of people that have that distillate, right?
Well,
Yeah, and then but not putting this type of spin on it. It's just what this tastes like, this taste profile, and how you're utilizing it and doing what you're doing with it is quite nice.
and too,
That's
you also, what I found out too is now the bourbon drinker of today wants to be more educated about what they're drinking, and if they can associate the flavor profile of mash bill of what's in the bottle
Look at something else, another brand with the same name.
with same
Yeah,
benefit,
I think
and
there's-
associate it.
there's
But
a-
also too with what they're tasting, it helps them give them a better understanding.
Oh, I like rye forward whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't like wheat.
Yeah. Or if they had some thought in their mind that they didn't like it, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, we're looking at it now. This is what I'm drinking." So it helps them associate that. Yeah.
This is really good.
You want the 3?
I moved on.
All right. So number 3.
This behind.
We knew National Stock is
Number 3 is this is only available in Kentucky. Very limited release. We actually made 30 barrels of this. It's our one cask rye. It's went into the barrel just over 7 years old. Into the bottle just over 7 years old. It's 65% rye, 35% wheat. So it's a pretty unique mash bill. And it was a bit of a gamble for us, but it fortunately worked. And because it's been pretty popular, we only launched this or released this just a couple of weeks ago. This one was, so this is cask 3, and this guy came in at 120.8.
That's 120 proof.
Yep.
It does not drink like that.
This one, best in class of the American Craft Spirits Association in Denver about a month ago, scored 98 points. And as you can imagine, at that show, we were up against some very well-known household names. And one person.
Yeah, really subtle notes. It's not something that smacks you in the face and says, drink up.
Yeah.
Man, this is just
3 drops, like 100 proof maybe.
Yeah.
Cooler and beer, 120. Like
Of course, that could be because you're getting drunk.
I believe some of each one of them.
Yeah, me too.
So that's the yellow label, our white wheat rye, one cask rye, that's the yellow label, green.
And you can only buy that here.
It's only in Kentucky. There's you can get it at liquor barns, big box, added to and then it's by some more quality bottles. I think this is
And of course, you can buy it right here in the gift shop.
Yes. Good thing here is you can buy, you can actually taste the different expression and taste barrel wine food.
Yeah, because that's something we don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
There's something unique about walking in and when you see, your price points are a little more they're not super premium, but they're not a $40 bottle.
Absolutely.
So there's people that are getting into bourbon, and I can buy that bottle for $50, or I can buy your bottle for $90.
Right.
So when you have the opportunity to really taste it, or maybe we can taste it for you, and you can listen to the podcast.
That's awesome.
So you make that decision these days. Last time I checked, they buy the bottle for 90 and they buy the bottle for 50. That's kind of how it's been working.
Well, it is, but I gotta tell you, when you start to get into the 100 or 200 bottle stage, you start to kind of become a little more concerned. And when you get into the 600 or 700 bottle stage, you just wonder why the hell you got.
Well, no, I agree, but it's just like anything else. When I first started, I was just starting to get into the 70, 80 bottle. The first bottle of Booker's I ever bought was $89, and I was buying the boat. And then after being in it, then you're in the $100 one, and then all of a sudden you go to a bourbon festival, one of the bourbon festivals. Now you're in the $200 one.
Well,
It's just an
Just
evolving.
you bought a bottle for $300, so I mean, it's
So like I said,
You
it's
can buy that one for you.
that's great.
yeah.
Sure. You sure? Wait, are you rotating?
No. Okay. That's a lot.
That's real good.
Actually, I just wanted to say,
Particularly.
if you get into the $600 to $700 bottle range, then you're better be ready for a divorce or a big long argument with your wife about why you spent so much on one bottle of liquor when you could have something just as far better at such a better price.
I mean, we put these in a little box.
Well,
Guys.
I don't know how it's there.
But I'm sure
that would
in the
give me
future
something
you
more
have
to
some
explain
rare
to my
rare
wife.
expressions
But
of
look
what
at
they
it.
go in wooden boxes.
I know.
This is how it's
Look at
working.
this box that I got you.
Yeah.
I get the liquor, you get the wooden box.
I can tell my wife
That's never freaking worked.
Every time I read one home in a wooden box, I'm like, honey, I'm just planning for your cremation. You know what? It's really stopped that conversation. I don't know why, but it works every time.
So, Tony, what do you think that is?
This one? No, this one is,
I like that.
Yeah.
It is, you know what? I will say this. Sometimes rides in particular, it's too hot for me, it's no pepper.
Yeah.
This, I mean, I know you said it's a rye, but I'm drinking it. And that's
well, it's a bourbon man's rye, there's no doubt.
That's absolutely right.
And then there's the char. I don't get a lot of char, that little bit of char flavor on a lot of ryes. I usually get the greener notes, and this is bringing out the char. So, and on the, as far as a rye go, I enjoy it. And like most ryes, certain types, I just want to spit out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no desire to do that with this.
You can see me do that.
Well, this is got a sweet, buttery mouthfeel to it. I mean, I can still taste the subtle flavors of the rye grains in there.
Yeah, the wheat really mellows.
Yeah. And that wheat is really.
And I'll tell you the other thing is, if somebody's looking for something, have a variety of something on the market. There's a rye out there that I think that has
I've never tasted a rye that tasted like
For where you're at,
That's
I think you've done a
fantastic.
nice job with your brands. You're making different type things. You have a nice selection. It's, a lot of people start off with just a couple or whatever. That's just thinking you've got the rye, you've got the weeded rye. I mean, how many people make a rye with just not?
I don't know, we don't know.
Right. So
yeah, good. Let's move on.
Okay, so you guys are just talking about how, the big, heavy, or the big, earthy, spicy, in-your-face rye. This is wonderful. So this is what we call our 10 by 10. It's 100% rye. That's all it is.
So there's no barley to help the fermenting process.
100%
you're lying.
So, it's
Yeah. I only say that because no, that does not. That doesn't even taste like rum.
It's 123 proof. And
Wow, no, it is not.
And it's straight.
He's lying on all that.
No, it's 123 proof.
You can't trust
All right,
me.
I gotta see the bottle because you already told me it's right up on the front of the bottle.
It's 10-year.
10-year-old, 10 years.
100% rye, and it's 122.3.
So somebody just has to come here just to taste this because because this tastes nothing like a rye.
And I just like to say, has anybody else
Doesn't
heard of
taste like
100% rye out there in the market?
Now,
So
you can start bringing that around.
this, okay, I'll give this an awesome story. So this, we didn't make this.
You say awesome?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That was Australian for us.
Not awful.
We were at home saying this, I've got a beautiful story. Okay, I don't know why that's perfect.
That's way better. There's no
Yeah.
confusion on that.
So this story is really used. I don't say that's whatever.
That's a
This
super
guy, yeah, right, that is exactly right. So this guy, we didn't like this on we wanted to do it. So this was made by a very well respected Kentucky distiller. Made out of Alberta, Alberta, Canada. And it was 100% rye because they made it for export. And it was on a ship as a 10-year-old going to Russia. The war started, ship turned around, and it sits in Cincinnati for like a few months. My friend, very good friend, that works with this.
It's not really easy for a ship to get from Cincinnati to Russia. I mean, I was seeing you guys too, so I mean, you know,
It's quite a while.
yeah, it is quite there's a lot of stuff in there.
New Orleans.
And it did end up in Cincinnati, and he said, this book was starting up like 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. He called me up and said, hey, I've got this 10-year-old, 100% rye. I can do a good deal on it, we can't sell it, it's not out, we don't have it. Like, I you know, 2 days later, he brings it over with cigars and sample models.
Oh, he's something.
And was sitting out by the fire, and I'm like, this is freaking amazing. And he goes, well, I've got a deal for you, you've got to take the whole lot. He actually took a lien on the farm, and he bought the whole lot. And this whiskey becomes so unique, I think becomes so unique. It's got to see this extraordinary cocktail bars, bourbon bars around the country. Because the mixologists love it. So
Yeah, no doubt.
Like I said, what was
What's it, a rye?
It's like
Not rye. The rye, the
I thought the one before that was a bourbon man.
so this is so we didn't appreciate
a
this,
bourbon
but
man rye.
this rye is to rye, like Johnny Walker Blue is to Scotch. Because in my opinion, Johnny Walker Blue is so smooth, so silky. It doesn't even, you drink it and it doesn't taste like a Scotch. It doesn't even taste like a whiskey. It's almost like its whole purpose is to be whiskey without being whiskey, right? Like what whiskey isn't. And that is this to rye. Because this is everything, even though it's 100% rye, it's everything that rye isn't to rye. I mean, and that's the uniqueness of which, that's why you bought it. That's a great story.
well, my big thing, my point of claim that they nothing else. We kept it out of the lady who grinding down.
Well, in itself is a
It's
piece,
a
right?
strategy where the boys need to be known or, of course, any political statements being hearing.
But you know, this is a great product for us. We just like that. We have
It's so unique. It's cool.
Yes, I will say, I think, you know, it's weird to me because I don't always, you know, it's like, you know, when you drink 600 bourbon a year, you get a lot of flavor profiles, and I'm kind of adjusting a lot of rice. Yeah, that's not what I want. I want to sit down and have a nice, you know, relaxed evening. This is not. I mean, if you told me this was 100%, I would judge you.
Yeah.
Well, and what you said, like getting it into the bars and the restaurants for making cocktails, and yes, that's what, like, you could sip it, but it's almost like I'd rather drink the bourbons and sit on your porch and whatever, but that is so unique to what, it changes your mind of what rye could be, but also I could just see it doing so much in a cocktail, where the flavors of the cocktail are going to come through, but also that just base whiskey flavor comes through too.
So what we do with this here behind you, as you can see, is Emily, our she's also a great mixologist, and all she does with this most torn down old fashioned you've ever seen. She has a big slot of this in glass. She gets a bar spoon, it's about half a thing, 3/4 of a thing of a bar spoon of our maple syrup. Puts a couple of dashes of this awesome Portland bitters in it. Gives it a stir and and it doesn't need like once you put maple syrup into this or a couple of the others, you never use simple syrup. No, you just want it.
What kind of cherry?
Oh, we have the greatest cherry. We use dirty, smooth bourbon cherries, and for the longest time we couldn't get them anywhere, and so we bought shit ton of them.
Is that technical term?
Shit ton is a distiller.
Is that in the metric system?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's in Australia.
Not opposed to craft.
It's very similar to craft time, except you guys in the
I
US.
think
She does a little
shit ton is just a little bit
Just a
more.
little
Yeah. It's got more dents. See, I know it's different.
It's perfect.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So tell everybody exactly.
Oh, yeah. How does somebody book like a tour? If they want to come in and they got an SUV full of friends and they want to come by and do a tour.
Yeah.
I mean, how does one do that?
It's really super easy. You just go onto the website, which is just Lawrenceburg Bourbon Co. And there's a little link that says book a tour. You can book the tour that way. But the other thing is, we're not big enough or up ourselves enough to. If someone walks in and wants to do a tasting, they can do a tasting.
Nice.
And that might mean that they might have to sit in the VIP room, which is set up in 2 groups.
That'd be horrible.
But we will accommodate them. We want everyone to try it.
I got to tell you, the special event space here is unique as places to be accommodated. How does one book the event space there?
You can hit me up at Greg@LawrenceburgBourbon.com, and that will come directly to me.
So I know your technology challenge. You actually figuring out. No, I know that. I know that is the guy that tried to set
That's
us
your
up.
wife.
Yeah.
Does she read your? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, the best one to send it to, but then we'll go straight to pay, is distillery at LawrenceburgBourbon.com.
There you go.
Yeah. Then you don't do the 2-step process. It's just one.
So,
We'll cut straight to the chase and go to the boss.
Distillery,
Yeah, we'll go to the boss.
If you've got any questions about booking anything,
I will tell you, I would not hesitate at all about looking this for
thank you.
a corporate event, being a corporate person.
Yeah.
I would take this whole thing. It'd be amazing.
Well, you'll let us go to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, we're new. No one knows who we are. No one really knows us. So the more people we get our whiskey in front of, we get to try it and come and see our facility, the better. And that's why we'll bend over backwards to make sure everyone has the time. We'll bend over backwards to make sure they can get it and taste our whiskey. We can ship to a bunch of states now. So, no, we can ship direct out of Kentucky to I think 9 states, 11 states. But then we're about to set up with a group called I think
They're probably
that we can. So we'll be able to ship all over the place. But seriously, guys, we're super approachable. There's no corporate thing here. It's me or Katie or Emily or someone will get back to you. You don't send it to me, someone will get back to you. But yeah, just come and hang out.
That's the vibe.
We did.
The vibe.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers to hanging out.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, man.
Thank you for it. All right, everybody. www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X.
LawrenceburgBourbon.com for all things Lawrenceburg Bourbon.
Yeah, and then Katie at Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
I did it, but yeah, they were able. I think they were able to deduce that. You know what I mean? Because yeah, I do. If you got that, you know that. Lawrenceburg.com, you know that. You're a legit distillery, and you gotta just check it out.
And we usually go tell you things like 5 times.
Yeah, but I do know things. It's cool.
See, I'm getting you things. We have no idea. So on your Instagram, guys, follow us on our Instagram. It's just at Lawrenceburg Bourbon. My personal one is at wannabe distiller. And so that we can find us there. And if you send us a message on Instagram, I will respond.
Okay, so there is his media of choice. It's Instagram.
Yes.
So there you go. So I was fine. Someone has that.
That's anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. I mean, it's just been fantastic,
And we have also, we're on all podcasts.
we are. You
We're
can
on
find us out.
Yep. And then
We're looking at and people turn up everywhere.
make sure that good whiskey equals good friends, good times. Make sure you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And
Go out and live your life dangerously.
little Steve-O's going to take us out.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
Hey, Scotchy Bourbon Boys fans, this is Alan Bishop, Indiana's alchemist of the Black Forest. So I'm tuning in here today to tell you all about the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute channel on YouTube. If you're at all interested in the art of distilling, whether it be home distilling or professional distilling, and the intense geekery that goes into that process, then check out the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute on YouTube. I promise you're going to learn something you didn't know before about the arts.